Welcome to this video in the series Word for Writing Academic Papers in English. In this video I present the References menu. The video presentation, written and presented by myself, Ajahn Roy, from the Naresuan University Graduate School. Here is the References menu, as you can see from the main menu of Word. References here, when you click on this, down comes the menu containing a lot of options for references. So in this video I'm going to demonstrate this references section, and this is an important section for you to get to know and to use, especially for your thesis or dissertation. So first I will open this particular document, which is very familiar to you, and we'll go to the references section to see what we can do with it. Now, I'll make it a little bit larger. What do we have in the references section? Well, on the left-hand side we have table of contents. Now, I have discussed table of contents before, and I'll just insert a table of contents. There we are. There's our table of contents showing all of the text which has been dealt with or has been styled heading 1. Okay, so here are heading 1 and heading 2 style text which goes into the table of contents. Of course, we can also see this if we look at the navigation panel. There it is there. And I will remind you that both from the navigation panel and from the table of contents you can hyperlink into the document. Okay. This menu allows you to update the table from the menu, update page numbers or update the entire table, and you can add text. I have never used this particular facility, so I won't worry too much about it. You can also add footnotes. You can insert footnotes. Down here, what this says is right there next to that heading is a reference to footnote number 1, and I can enter this is footnote number 1 or whatever I want the text to be for a footnote. I could go elsewhere and I'll put in another footnote here. Right, I'll turn the hidden text off for the moment, and I want to insert another footnote, and it automatically gets numbered as number 2. So this is the second footnote. So this gives you the ability, if it is allowed in your document or if it is allowed in your thesis, to insert footnotes. And there's a whole menu of properties of footnotes. Do you want it at the bottom of the page? Do you want it at the end of the document as endnotes? And does it have to match columns and so on, and what is the number format and numbering. Now, numbering, you can indicate whether you want footnotes to be numbered continuously from the first to the last, or do you want to restart in each section. You may remember from a previous video I talked about inserting sections into your document, and each section can be formatted separately. And in this particular case, you can restart footnotes in new sections. Okay, so that's footnotes. Now, here we have a lot of possibilities about entering citations. Now, I must admit, I have not used this. I suggest that probably, if you're doing this in your dissertation or your thesis, you'd probably be using Microsoft's EndNote. But nonetheless, be aware, and you can explore this for yourself, that you can insert citations, and you can indicate the style of the citations. Recall again from a previous video. In fact, no, I put in the writing research papers video series that I presented before about whether you're using the APA referencing styles or Chicago or Harvard or IEEE. Okay, so there's everything about inserting citations, style of the citations and so on, and here you can insert a bibliography, presumably listing all of your citations. Again, as I said, I haven't used that, so I won't go into it in any great detail. The next area of the references is to allow you to insert captions on tables and on figures. So if I go down here to this, okay, here I have a table. You may remember when I showed you how to insert and format this table, and now I want to put a caption on it. So I will delete that because that is a caption I put in for practice. Now, usually and obviously you will want to put a caption on the table, and the caption travels with the table wherever you want to move the table to. Previously I have suggested that when you put your own caption in, that you create a special style for the labels on your tables and your figures. But now we're looking at the captions. That's probably not necessary. But what it does indicate to us, and you'll see this in a moment, that the table or the caption has to be reasonably brief. What some people tend to do is to make the caption or the label on tables and figures into short stories. Well, that's not correct. If you want to put in discussion about your table or your figure, then do it in your discussion and merely refer to the table, and the table has a very brief, concise label. Okay, let's get on to it. Here we have a table, and I want to insert a caption. So go back to references, insert a caption. Now, the first thing that I want you to fully understand is that the label can be indicated as either a figure label or a table label or an equation caption. Sorry, I'm using the word label, I'll use the word caption. So this indicates to me that you can put captions on equations, you can put captions on figures, and you can put captions on tables. And in this particular case, I'm saying I want a table caption. And up here is where I enter the text. So this is my first table label or caption. Okay, I'm happy with that, so it's okay, and there it is. There's the caption. Now I can get rid of that because I've now got a proper caption. And if we have a look at the styles, we see that it is styled caption, and I have actually changed the caption from the standard to what I want, and that is font Eucrosia UPC regular 14, and the paragraph, I want it on the left hand side, I want 6 points before and after, and I want it to be single spacing. So once you have entered the caption, it is automatically caption style, but you can edit the caption style. Okay, so that's table 1 caption. Now, I have previously copied this table to make another table, and I have also inserted another caption. The trick about this is, of course, when I enter another caption, it gets automatically numbered as, in this case, table 2. So that's the thing about captions. When you enter a new caption, let's enter a new caption here just for the purpose, insert a caption, and we see that it is caption 3, the table 3. So that's one way of keeping control of the order of your tables, and what it does mean is if you insert, and I'll show this, if you insert a caption between, say, table 1 and 2, insert the caption, again some text, there's the caption, and it automatically updates this to table 3. Very handy. Now, I also have a figure here. I've inserted that figure previously using the insert menu, and here I also want to enter a caption. Now again, I've already done this. You see, caption style on here, so I can delete this. And if, for the sake of our discussion, let's knock this down, and I will copy that just for fun, put that here, and here I want to insert a caption for this, so I will insert a caption, and this time I want to say that it is a figure caption, and here is the text. Done. Now, figure 2, because I already have a figure 1 caption. So again, keep in mind, when you insert captions, whether it's table captions or figure captions, Word keeps track of exactly whether it's figure 1, 2, 3 or 4, insert another caption, all of those below get changed by updating the number, which does give you a slight problem in as much as if you're referring to a figure 5 and you insert a new figure 3, well, the new figure 3 pushes the old figure 3 to 4, pushes the old figure 4 to 5, pushes the old figure 5 to 6, and all of a sudden your text is pointing to the wrong figure. So be careful about that. Now, what have I done here? Well, you see I've already put in a table of contents, but what I also want, now I'm going to insert a page break here. Okay, I'll turn on my hidden characters to show, yep, there's the page break. Now, here I'm going to insert a table of tables. Okay, I go back to the references, insert a table of figures, and I want captions which are designated as table captions. There it is. And here I want a table of figures, and I'm going to insert a table of figures, but I want figure labels or figure captions, and there it is. So here we have a table of contents, a table of tables, a table of figures, and if it was appropriate, although I haven't shown this to you, we could insert a table of authorities. Now, if I hover over that, the help says add a list of the cases, statutes and other authorities cited in your document. It seems to me to be very relevant to legal documents. And as you will recall, when we were entering captions, one of the caption options was to be equation. So presumably you could now here put in a table of equations, and I would insert a table of equations, but in this case it said, well, there are no equations captioned, so I can't make up this. Now consider how interesting and useful this is. And it all comes back first to the correct use of styles, and then an understanding of captioning your tables and your figures and your equations through this references menu. Now, perhaps in your thesis you might be required to put an index at the end of your thesis. Now, if you recall in textbooks, you look at the index in the back, and if, say, it's a database textbook, you might try to find where in the textbook, what pages in the textbook does it refer to perhaps entity modelling, and that's in the index. Okay? And how you enter index entries, let's say here I want to say, well, okay, here I'm talking about the abstract, so I will enter an index entry. Now the main entry will come under, let's say, will come under major headings, and the sub-entry will be the abstract. Okay? You can do a cross-reference because you might have something else where you want them to be able to also go to. And okay, so I'm marking that. Now you see here is the index entry. It is hideable text. So if I turn off, I no longer am looking at the hidden text in my paper, and then I would go to the end of my paper and say, okay, I will insert a page break here, and here I will put my index in, and go back to here, and I will insert the index. There we are. Now the major headings, I could under major headings put others. Anyway, you can organise your index. You can say here's a heading A, which means this, this and this and this, and all those page numbers around the place are put in that you have entered index entries for. So what else can I look at here on the references page? Not a lot. It is nonetheless an extremely powerful menu that you should get used to. And I'm sure you will agree with me that by having the ability to automatically construct your table of contents and these other tables which are necessary in your thesis or dissertation, it's going to save you a lot of time. So, let me get out of here. So that's it. That's the references section of Word. So thank you for viewing this video, and now you can go to the final video in this series, the finale, and I will demonstrate formatting a paper using the template. Thank you very much.